Hi and welcome to India's number one construction podcast, BuildMate Podcast.
So now we have with us Mr. Shashi Pandey. He is the managing director at Starcrete LLP. Hi sir, कैसे हैं आप?
बढ़िया सर, बताएं।
आज हम वर्ल्ड ऑफ कंक्रीट में मुंबई में यहाँ पर आपके साथ बात कर रहे हैं। एवोल्यूशन ऑफ कंक्रीट जो इंडिया में हुआ है, गोइंग फ्रॉम दैट साइट मिक्सिंग टू दैट रेडी मिक्स कंक्रीट ऑन अ बिगर साइट, देन टू रेडी मिक्स कंक्रीट in individual houses. How do you see the future of concrete in India?
See, concrete, India may, I think it's just a beginning, I would say, because we being a developed countries, the kind of demand which is currently being there and which is envisaged in a near future, we are yet to gear up for that kind of infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Currently, if you look at the cement consumption, we are not even 8 to 10% of the cement consumption used for ready-mix concrete.
Yes.
So it has a huge future. Of course, it started all in 90s, early 90s. But that time there was very few companies who were into RMC. But currently there are multiple companies and major cement companies have come in a big way. And the way RMC consumption is increasing, and people have really, in Bombay region, if you see, it is virtually stopped. The site mix has been virtually stopped.
Yes.
And people have to opt for ready-mix concrete.
Absolutely.
The major challenges, of course, these companies are facing is within Bombay city, getting a place to set up an RMC plant is the biggest challenge. So this RMC comes from far distance from Navi Mumbai and western suburb, may beyond the Dahisar and all. So maintaining that quality and everything has been a big challenge.
Yeah.
So, of course, the demand is very, very high. Meeting that demand in Bombay city is the biggest challenge. Until unless RMC companies have sufficient places which is earmarked for ready-mix concrete in Bombay region, sufficing the demand of RMC would be very, very difficult.
Absolutely.
Of course, this RMC has the future of RMC is very, very bright. In developed countries, if you see, about 80 to 90% of the construction is done through ready-mix concrete.
Absolutely, yes.
Whereas in India, if you look at bearing the urban cities, rural area still RMC is a distant dream.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure company has been doing very well, and most of those companies has their own RMC plants, but still there is a huge scope for the other RMC players.
Yeah.
And as you have asked about IHB, that individual housing,
Home builder, yes.
so these are of course in a cities like bigger metros like Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Calcutta, these places in IHBs also, it is in a great demand.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's
You were talking about cement consumption. The per capita cement consumption numbers are nowhere near what China is doing. In fact, they're saying they're seeing a 3x growth in the next 5 to 10 years because it's going at such a fast pace. And with government initiatives and everything, the future, at least of infrastructural work and residential work, seems to continue and seems to do really well.
No, that's very true, because Indian economy has just opened up. If you look at last 4 or 5 years, the kind of infrastructure growth which the current government is, visualizing it, and the way they have been announcing many such projects, the cement in RMC's percentage will definitely grow.
Yeah.
And last 4 or 5 years, there has been a tremendous growth. And then in coming 8 to 10 years, there is no looking back. I mean, there's a huge demand for ready-mix concrete. But yes, maintaining the challenges, maintaining the quality, and those things is possible if the more bigger companies like big brands, like be it Ultratech, be it Adani, be it Shree Cement, all these companies have come into this RMC. So I'm sure they would give their best, and the quality of construction would be much better. And as the challenge I have told you, by metros like Bombay, the government has to see and accommodate these companies, whereas the land is provided so that more and more RMC plants can be set up.
Sure.
Which could be far distance from the residential and commercial places. There are enough spaces in Bombay which is still very empty.
Yeah.
There they should provide it, and Bombay should get their share of RMC very well.
One last question, sir. And I want to, RMC के बहुत सारे types होते हैं, concrete के बहुत सारे types होते हैं. I just want to quickly take your views on something called UHPC, Ultra High Performance Concrete. If you can just tell us something about it and the growth that it's seeing.
No, ultra high performance concrete is the need of an hour, because if you look at bigger metros where the quality of construction, the requirement has been beyond the regular concrete, which is M30, M40 grade. So those requirements are, M60 and beyond.
Yeah.
So and HCC concrete and so many types of concretes are there, and that can be done only if proper infrastructure is provided.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, as I told you, it's a big, like the high rises in Bombay, which requires M70, M80, and up to M90 grade of concrete. So generally, in such cases, these companies set up a batching plant at the site, because maintaining that quality from a distance of 30-40 kilometer is a challenge.
Possible, yes.
So that's of course the demand has been increasing for the higher grade concrete, and it will always remain, because most of the structures in metros, they have started growing vertical.
Yes.
So that the high rises are as good as 74, 80 floors.
Yeah.
Buildings are coming up in Bombay. So that demand will always be there, and of course the quality of product or the material will all depend on to the quality of input material, like aggregates and all those things, which is again a biggest challenge in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So we have to, currently these aggregates mostly come from Navi Mumbai area. With the new airport coming up there, all these aggregate crushers shall move on to different far off distance like Pune and all.
Yeah.
Then because getting a quality of aggregates for producing that kind of quality concrete is difficult.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a huge change which has come into the chemical industries, like admixture, which is being used for this high grade concrete.
Yes.
And there are big companies, of course, Sika, Fosroc, all those companies are there. But the companies like CAC, who have been growing last 10 years the way they have grown.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with their contribution, with the best quality of admixture, because if you don't get a better quality of aggregates, what could replace it is a good quality of admixture, which can replace that and make sure that you get that high grade of concrete. M70 and above, M60, 70 and above.
Thank you, Shashi sir. It was
Thank you.
valuable actually to talk to you. This
Thank you
was
so much.
Mr. Shashi Pandey from Starcrete LLP. And have a great day. Thank you.
You were watching India's #1 construction podcast, BuildMate Podcast.